Ceruto, try it again. Fans on the feet, 6,000 in attendance. The payoff is flied into right field, going back at the warning track, at the wall. It's gone! Go ahead, 3-run home run for the senior. Peter Ceruto has given the Indiana Hoosiers the lead.
Indiana baseball took down number 18 Coastal Carolina 7-2 on the road. Sophomore starter Connor Foley pitched 4 scoreless innings, and grad student Ty Bothwell pitched 5, giving up only 2 unearned runs. The Hoosiers got big offensive output with key hits by Devin Taylor and homers by Brandon Burckel and A.J. Shepard. The media caught up with Shepard and head coach Jeff Mercer following the game.
All right, first off, man, how was it playing in an environment like this? Probably your first time under the lights like this.
I mean, it's what you dream of. It's what you dream of. I mean, it's been 655 days since my first surgery, and just going through the whole rehab process, just every day, just kind of trying to get better, trying to get healthy, and, you know, it takes nuts, and, you know, just trusting my work. So it was a wonderful time.
And obviously the staff believes in you, putting you in so early.
Yeah.
You get your first hit yesterday, and how did you feel there? Your first bomb today?
Can't really describe it, honestly. I mean, I felt it. I was hoping it got over that big wall, and I was kind of scared it wasn't going to get over, and my slow butt was going to have to start running. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see my mom, give her a big hug. She's been my biggest supporter. So, yeah.
And just as a team, what does this do? What does this do winning here and taking this forward for you for the rest of the season?
I mean, just builds momentum. I mean, Merce talks about it. You just got to build and like get better throughout the season. And yesterday, tough loss, but just got to get right back to it and get better as you go.
All right, first off, Coach, what was an amazing college baseball game between you and another, big-time club.
Great team. Yep.
You pulled this off. This is a huge win for the program. What did you see between the pitching, the offense? Just give us a little, talk about what you saw.
Yeah, we talked about it last time we got back to the hotel. We were in a very similar situation with Duke yesterday, where a couple of bats could have gone one way or the other, and they went their way, and we didn't manage the middle of the game. I always tell the guys, you just want to be in the 7th inning in a 2-run game, up or down one way or the other, and then the tougher, more fundamental team can find a way to win that game. And that's not to take anything away from Coastal whatsoever, but that's just our mantra, right? You want to be fundamental in tough late, because when you're playing great teams, and Coastal's a great team and Duke's a great team, you're going to be in close games. If you're doing it right, you're going to be in close games. And so that was the kind of the talk in the dugout, was where we want to be at, right? So they go back and they tie the game, and we're right where we want to be at, right? You're 0-0 in the 7th, and let's find a way to win it. You got 9 outs left, and let's go win the game. And so, we had opportunities early offensively yesterday, and we didn't capitalize. We did the same thing today. We had opportunities where we didn't capitalize, and we left runners on base, a lot of guys on base. And so you felt like eventually that we were going to be able to adjust our timing. We were starting a little bit late, which is not abnormal. Like, their starter was great. Their bullpen guys threw hard. And so, you got to get on time. We got to get started. We got to make an adjustment. We've always been a good fastball hitting team, and we weren't last night or yesterday. We weren't today early. And so you encourage them to stay the course. I thought such a pivotal moment was, Foley was obviously great. Bothwell was great. We lead off with an error. We throw the ball away, and then the guy advances. And I almost didn't. I thought he was safe off the bat, but then you got to kind of stick up for your guys. But my fear with challenging was just the emotional letdown of him being safe. I knew he was going to be safe, but you got to do it. How many teams come into this place and have a 2-run lead, then lose the lead on an error, and then go on to lose that game? It's like, 9. No one is, very few can persevere through that. So that was what I think was the pivotal moment, was the toughness to handle against a great team in a big time environment, to handle the mistake, and the mistakes happen, and then to just push through, to not make it bigger than it is. We're not going to be perfect, and to advance yourself. And the toughness it took to do that against a great team and a very well coached team was, I think, what I was the most proud of. And then, it felt like Foley was going to be a good matchup. It felt like Bothwell was going to be a really good matchup. And they were. They both have really, really good fastball properties. They were able to command the top of the zone, the middle top of the zone with their fastballs. We mixed just enough off-speed pitches in there to continue to force the fastball. And Coach Clant drew up a terrific game plan, and those guys executed incredibly well. So, just all around everything you want your team to be about, which is perseverance and toughness and adjustability, making the adjustments throughout the course of the game. Doesn't go your way, you don't come up with the big hit. You're not always going to pull away and run away from teams, especially great teams, and to advance the game to the point where you finally can capitalize and then finish it. So it's a long-winded answer, but that was my evaluation of kind of the back and the forth of like a heavyweight fight. That's what it's going to be like.
Especially composure. First time you lengthened out Connor Foley.
Yeah.
We had the balk that we weren't even sure was.
Yeah.
The catcher's interference.
Yeah.
He kept his cool.
Yeah.
Twice an inning really extended.
Right.
After he celebrated.
Yes.
He still kept his cool.
Exactly.
I mean, what'd you learn from him first time out there?
Well, he told me he balked, which I thought was, just great maturity. You know, most guys, I didn't do that, I didn't balk. He's like, no, I'm fine, I got it, I did. And so it's like, right on to the next thing. You know, Jake Stadler caught his tail off back-to-back days. What an introduction to Hoosier baseball. He's been outstanding, and really from Pete Ceruto to him has been a very seamless transition the first 2 days. Hey man, there's a little bit of length, and Foley's throwing hard. Let's back up a few inches. Let's not make it a big deal and move on. And he just turned the page pretty quickly. But yeah, they load the bases early, and you talk to the pitchers about managing the big inning. They get one, they may get two, but we have to manage and not allow that inning to get away. And we did that so many times where we just managed and competed and were able to finish innings. And if you don't give it away, it's much harder for a team to take it. And we never gave it away. So that was kind of my thought. Obviously Foley first time starting, first time being extended, for a guy that's been a closer. And he's a sophomore, and as a later transition to baseball. He's a 3-sport guy, great basketball player. Was actually an Indiana football recruit before we stole him over to baseball. And so he played third base in high school. Was just a big, tough, physical kid who has composure and a lot of moxie. And he's only going to get better now. I'm thrilled. The starting pitching that we got last night with Reisdorf and Foley today is, you couldn't have asked for anything better from those two guys. And so, just a great job.
And you talked about the kind of special fastball properties, right? And obviously, it's 97 or whatever, but is it the reduced vertical break? I mean, it really has that finish to the top.
Yeah, it's like it's an inline arm swing, so it hides it for a long time. It's a little bit shorter stroke than you think it's going to be. I still remember I went and watched him. He was playing for the Bulls white team his junior summer. Came out of the pen. It was like 90-92. He walked 3 guys and got pulled. But you couldn't see the ball. You couldn't see it. And so as we've gotten him more behind it and then truer, so he throws it hard, but you don't see it, and then it does have the induced vertical to it. And he's learned a changeup that looks like it, and then the cutter off of that. So now you have to honor the secondary stuff just enough. You saw many foul ball. And so keeping guys from getting on top of it with the secondary stuff was special. But yeah, there's some real uniqueness to it. And then his is going to go up, and Bothwell goes up on arm side. So it's, even though they're both going up, they're going the opposite direction of up essentially, which we thought was going to play well, and it did. And obviously Ty was able to land just enough breaking balls, just enough change-ups to keep them off his fastball too.
You've got those, having a veteran like that you can just wheel out there. Here's 5 innings, go get it. Like, how much of a luxury is that?
I mean, we're incredibly fortunate to have Ty Bothwell on the program, and he's everything you want an Indiana Hoosier to be about. He's from Indiana. He loves Indiana. He's the hardest working guy you could ever have. He's such a great teammate. He's incredible with the freshmen. He understands the privilege and the honor and the responsibility of representing an entire state. And when you have someone like that, the whole group is behind him, right? There's nobody on that club that's not cheering for him. And I know that sounds like a little thing, but when you've got a guy that is beloved by his teammates because he cares for his teammates and he cares for what he represents on his jersey, it's uplifting to him as well. And those things matter. And he's a very talented player. He's a great kid.
And Coach, scheduling the last few years has always been opening at a pretty rough road environment.
Yeah.
What does getting this kind of win in this first weekend do for the mentality moving forward?
Well, like we've always said is if you want to compete at a national level, you have to go play the best teams in the country. You have to pick up and go play on the road and go play the best teams. And you can't say to your recruits, you can't say to your team that we want to compete at the highest level if you're not willing to do the hard things and find a way to get through it. You know, I remember at the beginning, we go and we get drilled and you get beat up, and sometimes it can take your team a little bit off track, but you got to persevere. Nothing worth having comes easy. And so if you don't do the hard stuff, then you never get the ultimate reward. And so that's our goal. That's our stated goal. And then we have to follow through with our actions. And so coming here and winning that, it shows I'm a tough cuss. I'm tough on them. I'm hard on them because the expectation, like the boys that come here and their families, they want to play at the highest level. And so they have to be pushed to compete at the highest level. And then to go out and to have a chance to win yesterday and not come through, to then respond and get back today. You know, everybody says they want something until push comes to shove. And like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? And so you got to put them in the environment to get hit in the mouth until they toughen up. And so I'm very proud of that. And so the road won't get any easier. It only gets harder. And so you got to get up tomorrow morning. You got to finish the series win. You got to get on the road next week and go play against a Big 12 team, and then get on the road and go play against great teams. And you have a great Troy team coming to us. But you're going to lose a few games along the way. But the scars that you pick up, it hardens you for the run in the Big Ten. It hardens you for a late season push. And if we're not trying to be the best that we can, then I don't want to do it. And so you gotta push it. You can't shy away from the tough stuff. And not that we're special or unique, but it just is what it has to be if you want to try to play at a high level against the best teams.
Speaking of toughness, can we get one more, Coach? Speaking about A.J. Shepard, his battle all the way back, and these past 2 days watching him and the moments that have gone on the past 2 days for him has been outstanding.
Well, A.J. was one of the first guys that we recruited when we got to Indiana. And A.J. is a terrifically talented player, a very unique talent. But he's also maybe persevered through more difficulty in the last 2 years than any player that I would not any player, but as hard as you would imagine it could be. He had Tommy John in high school, and then 2 weeks before the season last year, he had Tommy John again. So he's missed 2 years, and he's been swinging it back for 3 weeks. And so this is one of the best players I've ever recruited. He's a great player. He's a great catcher. And so you trust a guy to be in the fight. He's earned his right to get the first crack at it, in my opinion. Now he played well in the winter. He played well the last 3 or 4 weeks when he was getting at bats. But he's a great player. He's tough as hell. He's overcome an incredible amount of adversity. And when you have a guy like that, he deserves his shot. And not that any other guys don't. But he's, in my mind, he's earned the opportunity to go and compete until he proves otherwise. And so he did. He got beat by fastballs consistently, and he made the adjustment. I kind of said to him before the at bat, like, you know what they're going to do, and so you're going to have to get it out front. You got to get started. You got to get it out front. I know what you're capable of, and one of these times it's going to click, and you're going to find your timing. He said, I'm finding it. I'm getting close. And he was right. But God is good. Those moments are incredible. When you see a guy, one of the most special moments of my entire baseball career. That's one of the most special moments I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that. And if you knew all that he had been through, and not that you don't, but if you knew all you'd been through as a human being, it's just divine. It's incredible.
Do you know who you're going to be going with to open tomorrow?
Yeah, Phillips. Phillips is gonna start for us. He's been really good. Multiple pitches, 2 fastballs. We've been 90-94, 2 fastballs, multiple breaking balls, and a good changeup. A really good comp to Reisdorf-esque. He's been excellent. And so we had talked about maybe closing him even tonight. And then once the game got tight, we were looking at Tangini with the spin. We had thrown so many fastballs, and Tangini's got electric, elite spin. We had talked about doing that. But I have a lot of faith in Phillips. I think he'll do a good job for us.
Indiana wraps up the weekend today with an 11 a.m. game versus George Mason. See you at the beach.